Okay, so when it comes to the tool that we are using, which is going to be the trend-based fib time, okay? Trend-based fib time, different than the fib time zone. Do not get these mixed up. We're talking about the trend-based fib time, not the fib time zone, okay? Two different tools, all right? So once we click on the trend-based, first thing you're going to do is going to want to edit it, okay? So let me just quickly do that, and you can do the same on yours, okay? So just click on it. We'll just make random points. So double click on it. The only thing you're going to be using is going to be 0.618. All right, you can make it whatever colors you want, doesn't matter. A 1-to-1 is what I call this, a 1-to-1. The 1.618, and sometimes I have the 2.618 as well, okay? And you might want to put the 2 on there, but usually I just have the main points, which is the 0.618, the 1-to-1, 1.618, and the 2.618. Okay, those are the most important trend-based fib time pivots that you are going to use, all right? Now, let's just quickly explain how it's used, okay? So, unlike its cousin, right, the fib time zone, which is 2 points, right? 2 points from somewhere to another place, right? And that's how you get the points, right? From doing it from like a high to a low or low to a high. With this tool, its cousin, the trend-based fib time. Okay, I'm going to make this video like quick, but it's also going to be less based on the waves as well, because I'm just going to approach this video as if you're just using this tool, but usually you use this tool along with counting Elliott waves. But even though that's what you use it with, you can use the trend-based fib time alone by itself, and it can give you the same exact pivot points, and it can give you, all right, clear directional moves, okay? You don't need to use it with Elliott wave, but with Elliott wave it is enhanced by 100 times, okay? But by itself it is still a very, very accurate and useful tool, okay? And let me show you how to use it by itself and how you incorporate it. Just the next video will probably be how you incorporate it with Elliott waves, but let's just start off on how you use it first and how you can incorporate it if you don't even know how to do Elliott wave, okay? Now let's do it. So let's click on that, all right? And you're gonna wanna use this on a 1 hour or higher, okay? The higher the time frame, I have used it on smaller time frames like the 15-minute, 30-minute. You really wanna stay away from the smaller time frames because the more accurate pivots you're gonna get are going to be when you're on a higher time frame, 1 hour and above. Usually you want a 3 hour and above, okay? So we're going to start off on the 3 hour, and I'm going to show you how we get the 0.618 here, the 1-to-1, and our 1.618, okay? So really quickly, let me double click on this, and let me add the 2.618 for you guys. Bam. Okay, cool. So as you're clicking on this tool over here, all right, remember it's the trend-based fib time. All you're going to do is click on it. Now we have a low point in our trend, right? We have a low point right here. It doesn't matter if you take it from up here, you click here, right? You can click down here, you can click on the candle, it doesn't matter. You just need to be lined up with the exact candle that is on this low point. You see it? So it doesn't matter if you click right here, it doesn't matter if you click down here, it doesn't matter, okay? Where you place it, as long as you're on the exact time where the low was, if that makes sense, okay? So we got our first point, that's point 1. Like I said, doesn't matter where you click on it. You can click on it here in the middle of the candles, doesn't matter, as long as you're on this low, right? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now we're gonna go to the second pivot point, okay? So we have a low, we have our low pivot point right here, and if I zoom in you can see first fib pivot is here, this low, right? So we clicked right here. It's exactly on the low. Your next pivot point, you pull it to where is the high, okay? So from a low to a high, where's the high? I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is the high, right? So like I was telling you guys, you can click wherever you want. So boom, okay? Click right there, all right? So we have 2 points now. We clicked right there, and then we clicked right here on this high candle. So low, high, your third pull is going to be the third pivot, okay? So we have 1, 2, and the third one is going to be, so low, high, low, right there, boom. So like I said, you can click anywhere as long as you're on that low, the candle, where the candle is, boom. So we're going to click up here. And that is how you're going to get this .618, 1-to-1, 1.618, and the 2.618, okay? That is how you can use this tool, all right? Now, we did it from a low to a high to a low, and this is where we see clear pivot points, pullbacks on the market, right? This .618 called the high right here. We pull back, okay? It literally called the high right here, 55,503, and then we pull back down to $5,400. That's over $1,000 move, right? Now our 1-to-1, boom, it calls the high right here on the 1-to-1 from around 56.7, and we pull back all the way down to 54.7. Okay, that's a $2,000 move to the downside. Now we had our 1.618 pullback. Here we go, boom, calling this high right here, saying this is a pivot point on the market, and you can see we have fallen down so far, and I am expecting this move to continue downwards. As you can see, 1, 2, third pivot point is going to do the same as this one did and the 1-to-1 did, okay? The 2.618 possibly could do the same exact thing, okay? So what you're looking for is confluence, all right? You're looking for confluence, okay? So we did from a low, high, low. Usually when you're doing a pull from a low and a high, low, you're going to be looking for downside moves, meaning usually, not all the time, this is critical, not all the time, but usually it's going to be a downwards move, a downwards move, a downwards move on all your pivot points, right? On all your fib time pivots when you pull from a low to a high to a low, all right? Now, let's erase that really quickly because I want to show you the other way on how you can pull, which is going to be high, low, high, all right? So let's check this out, and you can leave this on your guys' charts as well. Let's do something in the future, and now you can see how it's going to react in the future, right? So we go over here, right? We click on our trend-based fib time. You can now, we're going to do the opposite, okay? So let me actually get rid of all these so it just doesn't confuse you guys. Get rid of all these, and I'm going to show you the opposite way of how to pull it, right? Because we did from low, high, low. Now we're going to do high, low, high, all right? So high, low, high, clicking on our tool, we can see a clear high, right? And yes, you could do high, low, high, right? And see how these pivots worked, right? From high, low, high. Check it out. Like I said, remember how I was telling you low, high, low is usually drops in price? Now you can see, look at the .618. It called an increase in price, okay? The 1-to-1, here's the difference. Here's the difference. The 1-to-1 could be downside when you're doing it from a high, low, high. The 1-to-1 is up for grabs. Could be upside, could be downside, okay? When you are pulling from a high, low, high. But your .618, when you pull from a high, low, high, is 90% of the time going to be a pop in price, not a drop in price. Remember, the opposite was low, high, low, and we were looking for drops. Now we're looking for pops because we're pulling from a high, a low, a high. And you can see a pop in price, boom. And then you can see right here, this pop in price, boom, on the .618. Now check this out. On your .2.618, it calls the high over here, And this is the difference from the pulls, you guys, okay? Literally calls the high on the dot, on the 2.618 right here, perfectly, okay? So you're looking for confluence, okay? When it comes to confluence, you need to be looking for other things on why should have this, after this 3-wave move, and this is how you kind of use it with Elliott wave as well, right? And this is how you incorporate it to use it in a better way. After you see this move right here, which is a clear, you know, a very clear 3-wave move, and you see this coming up, right? Usually it's not going to mean more upside, right? It's not going to mean it's going to be a bottoming candle to move upwards, okay? That's how you kind of are going to incorporate it with Elliott wave, but I'm going to teach you that later, all right? So you're looking for major pivot points on the market. Now remember, with the high, low, high, this is usually, not all the time, but usually going to be a pop in price. The 1-to-1 can be a drop or a pop. In this incident, it was a drop in price, boom, big drop. Now we got a pop in price right here on the 1.618 from exactly 57.118. We went all the way to 58.360, $1,000 move up. And look, it literally calls this high candle on the 3-hour on the dot 2 on the 2.618, and we drop exactly on that 2.618 from 57 all the way down to $50,000. Okay, so the dot 2, the 2.618 on your high, low, high pulls. Okay, you're going to incorporate it with Elliott wave. When you pull from a high, low, high, okay, the dot 618 usually is a pop in price. They could do the opposite, you guys, but they're usually, you're looking for a pop in price. Same thing for the 1.618, but your 1-to-1 and your 2.618 usually are designated by, you have to incorporate some Elliott waves to see which is it going to be. Is it going to be a big drop, or is it going to be a big pop in price? Okay, you have to incorporate your Elliott wave, which I'll do in the next video, but I just wanted to teach you how to use this tool so far. So you can do it from any highs to any lows, to any highs to any lows, to any highs to any lows, right? But you're trying to do it on higher time frames. So here we go again. Let's do another pool. We will do what we're looking at over here, okay? So we did that from high, low to this high. So now we'll do it like this, you guys, all right? We'll do it like this, from a high pool down to our current low. Now let's say, I'm not saying this is the high for sure, but let's just say this is the high for sure. All right, so my third pivot point is going to be right there. I don't know what just happened on that, but let's re-pull that. So from our high to our low to our high pivot. You guys see that? So you can mark these in the future, right? And it really is going to be, you're going to ask, why didn't you pull it from the very high? You could do that, but it's kind of, it's just weird when you incorporate Elliott wave with it to skip this low, right? Just from this high all the way down to this low. You wouldn't do that because you'd be wanting to do a pull like this. Like if you were trying to do that kind of pull from high all the way down to this low, right? You'd be waiting for another wave to tell you it's a high before you did that. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Okay, so we're not doing that pull. We're doing it from our current high over here to our low to, let's just call this might be the high, okay? So if this is the high we just put in, you can mark out your vertical lines, right? On the 2nd of April, 1800 hours, right? And I'm on UTC time, all right? I believe, yeah, UTC time. All right, same thing, your 1-to-1, mark it out. The 5th, all right? Or, excuse me, I'm an idiot. Or am I? Nope, I'm not an idiot. So the 2nd of April, 21st, 2021, 2nd of April, 2021, 1800 hours, UTC time. The 5th of April, 2021, 900 hours, okay? Those are going to be pivot points on the market, okay? If that remains that high, because you pulled it from a high, low, high, all right? So what was I telling you guys? Usually this is going to be a pop in price. So let's just say, right, let's just say we get a drop. You're going to be looking, you know, according to wave structure, you're going to be looking for a pop in price probably there, right? Now, if we do a pop up there, okay, we could pull back, then this could be another pop in price, or what could it be? It could be we have a wave up, and then this 1-to-1 right here calls a big pullback in price, right? So remember, the 1-to-1 can be either or, all right, when you pull from high, low, high, okay? And I hope this isn't confusing you guys more and more, but let's just do some more examples, okay? So you just get to the rhythm of pulling this, all right? So let's just do a couple more, all right? So let's delete everything. Now I'm going to do another low, high, low fib pull, all right? A low, high, low. Remember, that's what really is calling this right here as a pullback area, right? Because we did from this low, remember, to that high, down to this low, and you can see pullback, pullback, and I'm thinking another pullback. Now this, the 2.618, are we going to have another pullback? It's going to depend on wave structure, right? Low, high, low. This is always usually a drop, the 1-to-1 on the low, high, low, drop, drop, drop. 2.618 is going to have to be interpreted when it has confluence with market structure and the wave count, okay? So if you don't know Elliott wave, what are the pivot points you're going to be using? The .618, the 1-to-1, and the 1.618. Those are your best things if you don't use Elliott wave at all. So how would you use that in your strategy, right? You would do something like this, all right? So we have our low, which was down here, this candle, right? But you can pull it wherever you want, right? You could put the dot right there as long as you're on the low candle, you guys. So that's our first pivot, this low candle. Now up to our high, remember, you can place the dot wherever you want, doesn't matter. That's your second pivot. Now you got to remember to pull the third pivot though. So that's your second pivot, all right? Now we're going to look for our third pivot. So it was low, we pulled it from this candle high. Now we're going to pull it to our low right here, all right? Now that's going to be something you can use, not with Elliott wave, right? It's a clear low, a clear high, and a clear low once again, right? Low, high, low. Mark these for future reference. It's going to be, and check it out, the same date that we just had in confluence with pulling the other Fibonacci trend based from over here, I think, when we did it from high, low, high, or something like that. It said the same exact date. So on the 2nd of April, it's going to be a very, very nice day, all right? It's going to be a big either drop or pop in price. Now, according to this, all right, from our low, high, low, it's going to be a big pop up in price, okay? From low, high, low, you're looking for pops in price, right? Because remember, low, high, excuse me, low, high, low, you're looking for a drop in price, okay? A drop in price. So low, high, low, that's why we have this right here. So it could be something like this, right? Let's say we drop down, we pop up, and then let's say we're looking for another drop in price, okay? Now you're waiting for the 1-to-1, maybe it's going to be a pop up in price, okay? You see how it works? That's what you're going to be looking at, all right? Low, high, low, you're looking for drops in prices, and I believe that has confluence with how we just did the last Fibonacci pool. But just start pulling these, you guys. If you don't know anything about Elliott wave, I'll incorporate that in my next video on how you can use Elliott wave with it. But just start pulling these, you guys, from low, high, lows, high, low, highs. Very simple, okay? Here's another example. From high, right, down to low, to high. Now check this out. High, low, high. Boom, .618. Pullback. Boom, 1-to-1. Perfect high. Pullback. Now check this out. 1.618. Boom. targets the low and a big rise in price. Now the 2.618 is going to be another big rise or a big drop in price. Okay, check that out though. High, low, high. Just nothing to do with Elliott wave, but a high pull down to low. Third pivot is this high, right? High, low, high. Check out that 618 and that 1-to-1. Perfect. Calls the high. Calls this high right here. And then it calls the low right here. You have one more dip down, but it pretty much, I mean, that is rather amazing. It's calling that low. All right. And also, you could have used it as a shorting opportunity, right? Because it's calling it once this candle is done. Once the other candle starts forming, it's calling a short, right? But you also could have used it as a longing opportunity. So it all has to deal with market structure. All right. So I just wanted to teach you guys how to pull with this tool. You have 3 pivot points. Hopefully this has helped you guys. And I'll just show you a couple more pulls before I go. And the next video will be incorporating some Elliott wave with it and be a lot more in depth. Okay, so let's do another pull. So we have a clear low, so we'll do that. A low, a high, and look at a low. All right, so let's see how this worked out. All right, from a low, high, low, we have our 618, a pop in price. We have our 1-to-1, we get a pop in price. We have our 1.618, calls a pullback in price. And we have the 2.618, calls a pullback in price. Okay, now the bigger the pulls, meaning the wider the pulls, let's say like a low, a high, and low, the better the calls are going to be. Okay, the better the calls are going to be, meaning you can see 618, perfect low call and a pop in price. All right, now this 1-to-1, you could have went short or long here, but you can see right here the 1.618 pullback in price. All right, now the 2.618 calls the rise in price. Okay, now this is not a perfect, it's not going to be like be all ends all, but this in your tool belt is literally amazing once you get the hang of it and start witnessing what it could do. Okay, let's just do another one. Let's just say price action was, let's say you're doing it on a higher time frame. Okay, and you'll be amazed on what like the daily type pulls will do. They're insane. Okay, let's just look at like a 2-day. Okay, let me go on BitMEX so I can show you how crazy the 2-day pulls are. All right, so XBT, go to BitMEX really quick, and I just want to show you guys, the higher the time frame, the better the results when it comes to this tool. Okay, so we're on a 2-day, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it from the low. All right, or should we do high, low, high? Let's do both. Okay, high, right? And I kind of have to make that pivot. Just hold on with me. So high, let's pull that over there. Pull it down to the low, which was right there. See that? That's your second pivot point. And get it right on the actual low. What's the low candle? Right there. Boom. That was the low candle. You see right there. Boom. That's your second pivot. Okay. Now where's my third pivot going to be? Up on this high. Okay. Right? So high, low, high. Let's see what we have here. A beautiful rise in price right here on the 618 from exactly 9,000. We got over $1,000 move upwards. Now our 1-to-1, check this out. Our 1-to-1 calls a high in price, and we have a move from 97 all the way down to 88. Okay, now let's see what our 1-618 calls. Okay, check this out. Our 1-618 calls the low right here and the giant rise in price. Okay, and we're still not even hitting our 2.618. This is going to be a big move as well. Okay, now let's do the other pool, the big time frame pool that I was going to do before I end the video. Hopefully you guys just have a little bit better understanding on how you can use it to pool and to target with market structure and Elliott wave. If you do use Elliott wave, great. If you don't, just start pulling them from high, low, low, high, low. You know what I mean? Start making your pivots on the market. All right, so we have a clear high right here, right? We have a clear low. We have a clear high. All right, high, low, high. Let's check out what our moves have given us. Okay, so far our .618 could have been a nice short, or it could have been telling you that this is going to be a long, right? Either or on that one. I most likely would have took the short, right? Would have took the short on this candle at 34, and we would have dropped all the way down to 29. All right, that's almost a $5,000 move. And some of these pivots are still coming up. See, this 1-to-1 is the 5th of May, 2021. All right, your .618 is still coming up. It's the 12th of October. Now you can put these in a chart, right? You should save these or plot these out and plot these dates coming up, because they're going to be big movements in the price of Bitcoin. Okay, as you guys can see. Now before, and I would just mark them like that, just put little lines in there. Okay, now before I wanted to go, I wanted to do this one with you, which was the low, high, low. So we put in our low right here, put in a high, and then we put in a low. Now check this one out. Check this one out. Tells you right here, perfect opportunity and a giant rise in price. All right, 1-to-1 is a pullback in price, and our 1.618 pullback in price, right? I think we already pulled that one. Did we pull that one? I don't know. Can't remember. I think we did high, low, high, low, high, low. I think we did them all. So that that is how you'd pull them on the higher time frames, right? So if I'm looking at the higher time frames at this chart, what would be your most likely pull, right? Just before I end the video, it would be a high down to your low to a high. Now check it out. Check it out, guys. Incorporate this. .618 calls a giant pump in price. The 1-to-1 calls a pump in price. The 1.618 calls the giant drop in price. And now we are actually on the 2.618 time fib right as we speak. Okay? So just remember that, you guys. There's gonna be a giant price movement. We're on the 2.618 from our high, low, high. Okay? So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys kind of got a better understanding, but I will go into more depth on the next video. Peace.